bear with me. Oh, ow, ow. What's up guys, Sherman here, and if you've ever had to try to put on sunglasses with plaits, you know just how much that hurt. I'm not trying to be stylish, well I sort of am, but I'm going to trying out my sunglasses for the first day that I'm actually going to use them. I ordered them for eBay, but these are too small and my ego's too big, so it's pressing against my head. Anyway, so I just wanted to make a video about something that I started talking about earlier on, that is, oh my god, plaits plus sunglasses do not work. About basically MGTOW and marriage, because I put out a video recently and I got some pretty interesting responses, as well as I thought of a few other things to add to it that I didn't actually talk about in the actual video. Now, the original video, I'll send a link in the description. It's basically detailing whether or not you should go MGTOW or whether or not you should choose to do marriage, and what my current stance is with that, and why, and you know, the pros and cons of both. And starting with that, I just want to set something straight here. I am not pro or con anything. I am an individualist. If it works for you, it works for you. I think that there are various many benefits to marriage, and I know that there are various different drawbacks. And there are also some issues that I think there are people in the MGTOW community are totally ignoring about marriage, and it's a very black and white thing when it comes to marriage, I think, in most people that do MGTOW's mind. Mainly, I'll just jump right into my main concern, because this is addressed to a lot of the comments that I was getting from people who were quite rightly saying that, you know, there's so much stuff about monogamy that's wrong, and about how, you know, a marriage can be such a horrible thing to do in the court system, which absolutely I agree it is. But have you ever heard of a prenup? I did actually mention this in my video, that, you know, people are assuming that basically what, you know, when I say marriage, I mean the government, and I repeatedly said in that video, the government has no place in marriage, and you can have a marriage whereby you don't actually have the government coming in if there's a sort of a problem, you know, and saying, okay, I'm just going to redistribute everything and you have no control. No. A prenuptial agreement is basically that you agree whose stuff is whose before you even enter into the marriage. And this can be done very easily, so that if you break up, you keep your stuff. So if I have a business, or if I have a home, or even if I have a son, and then I get married, and then we then break up, I had already done a prenup before the marriage to say that if we ever break up, my son, my house, my business, my stuff, you can go off and you can do what you want. That is what a prenuptial agreement is. So I really think that there's this total ignorance, I think, in the MGTOW community of the fact that it is possible to get married and not have all your stuff taken away. Mainly because most of the stuff that we hear is all these horror stories from people who are screwed, unfortunately, by a system that quite rightly is working against men. And so it's very easy to think in my mind that it's, you know, marriage is always going to be this state whereby the law, you always have to worry about this heartless legal system, to borrow a phrase. And it's like, guys, like, do you know anything about the law? Like, you know, I've just done just like a bit of research. And if you are a lawyer and you think I'm chatting BS, please let me know in the comment section, and I will respond with an apology video. But based on what I've done in terms of the research and what I know about marriage, is that you can actually have a marriage without that stuff happening. Now, that's just that legal point out the way. Now, I also wanted to clear up the fact that, well, sort of reiterating my previous point, is that I think that marriage has its benefits, and I think it's not for everyone. But if you can pull it off, you can be just as happy, if not happier, than if you're MGTOW. Now, like I said, it depends on who you are. Some people could only be happy if they go MGTOW, like permanently. Other people will only be happy if they get married. But my big concern, my big problem, is people on one side saying that all MGTOW people are just cowards, and there's people on the other side who are saying all married people are just fools who are engaging in a heartless system, and there's only 1 in 1,000, or they all hate each other, and all this stuff. It's like this absolutist thinking that makes absolutely no sense. I know a lot of people who are married who are happy. Some of the happiest people I've met are married. I've seen so many people who are miserable and MGTOW, and it's like, it's both sides. I've seen, and I've also seen the opposite. I've seen so many people MGTOW who are really goddamn happy and they've achieved a lot in their life. And the same thing with marriage, and you see what I mean. So, my main issue is that not to get polarized in this left or right thinking, whereby it's like, yes, you know, this is the natural state of men, and therefore that, you know, everyone who is married is delusional, and me who's never been married in my whole bloody life is going to tell everyone what the best way of living is, without even actually looking at the actual statistics. Like I said, like, married people are the happiest statistically in the world. And that's been a fact for a very, 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 very long time. And so it's, just getting out of this absolutist thinking and not thinking that just because I'm criticizing some views on MGTOW, that means I'm pro-marriage. I am pro whatever works. If I'm not going to go up to a person who is like, okay, I want to be, they can't get along in a relationship, and say, you would be so much happier if you just shut the bleep up, put a ring on it, get married, and then lose all your stuff when she deserts you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like I said before, it's a circumstantial thing. Some people are very happy when they're married, some people are very happy when they're MGTOW, but absolutist thinking doesn't work. Anyway, I've driven that point to death. My next point is going to be about marriage and the actual different responsibilities of how to actually pull off an actual successful marriage. Because what I found is that a lot of the time, many marriages fail because people they're not given the option to go MGTOW, or they're not given the option to go off and do their own personal development. Very many people are pressured into getting married, especially from a young age. Hell, even me. Without actually doing any sort of personal development, without actually doing any sort of critical thinking, without trying to change anything, about themselves, just no self-improvement. So they go into the marriage with all their problems, they're underdeveloped, physically, psychologically, emotionally, and then of course the whole thing blows up, and then you have the inevitable counter movement. Oh look, marriages are being divorced left, right and center, and it's because marriages are bad. It's like, no, I just think that society is changing so quickly that it's not possible to keep up, and people really need to adjust before they go into it. And like I said, I'm not saying all these things just because I want everyone to be married and I think the world would be a happy place. I have to keep saying this. Is that I am not saying that everyone should be married. Is that I can talk for like a minute and then immediately people will forget what I just said and think, oh, he's automatically against MGTOW and he thinks that everyone will be happier when they're married. I'm not. I'm just saying that there's another perspective to it, and I think it's very unhealthy for people to go around and say, not only say that all marriage is going to lead you in legal and financial trouble, which is not true, but two, saying that you will never be happy when you're married, which is not true as well. You can get prenups, and yes, you can be happy, but like I said in my previous video, it requires trust, it requires responsibility, it requires a level of personal development that is really missing in this country, and just missing in general, and just missing from growing up in this crazy society that we're living in. So yeah, I think it is possible, but it again goes back to this thing about responsibility, because I'm not sure whether or not I should make this into a separate video, but I honestly don't think that men and women appreciate just how much the other side has been brainwashed. Like, just how much we've been cultured into these such weird positions whereby women are raised to think that they're just entitled and downtrodden and to be full of empowerment, and men are raised to think that they're just useless, soon to be replaced with technology. You don't need them; they're just bumbling buffoons who are constantly oppressing women. And I don't think either side really appreciates just how much the brainwashing has gone. I mean, it's like I don't think that women really appreciate just how much men have just been spat on, so they end up spitting on them as well and getting angry at them and getting frustrated at them and start thinking, oh, why don't you step up, why don't you do this, why don't you do that? I mean, there's so many different factors to why there's so many more emasculated men that women don't understand, that they actually become part of the problem. They become frustrated, they join all these feminist movements, or they will become frustrated and then eventually go off and say about how all men are useless and there are no good men or whatever, and they just escalate the problem. Now, they also are taught that, I should just, if I do anything wrong in my life, it's fine because the system will take care of me. The daddy state will take care of me. The husband who is the state will actually take care of me. And that's just not the case at all. What they'll eventually find is that the men that they were looking down upon were trying their hardest to try and fit into a system that was inherently against them, and is trying on various different fronts, either deliberately or not deliberately. I'm not going to put a tinfoil hat on at the moment. But deliberately or not deliberately oppressing them in so many different forms, and we've all felt it, and some of us know it, some of us don't. And I don't actually think that men understand just how much women have been brainwashed into thinking that they're just perfect princesses who they can just get anything they want. Now again, hashtag not all. I'm not saying that all women are thinking like this. It's absolutely false. But there's this subtle level of conditioning that I think some women are either consciously or unconsciously reacting to, whereby they just feel themselves, they just step over boundaries that they shouldn't step over, and they take risks and gambles without, it's safe in the knowledge that they don't have to accept responsibility. It's like, I mean, hell, how many horrible manipulative women deliberately get into relationships just to break up and take all of his stuff? I mean, they deliberately do it. And it's encouraged in some cases. And it's like, no one's going to look down on it. No one's going to look down on it. It's not going to be covered in the media. All it's going to be covered is, oh, this person punched her in the face because, you know, he's an evil person. Well, but actually he's been dealing with passive-aggressive, sometimes physical aggression for the last 2 years, and he finally snapped. But that's fine. And then she takes all of his stuff. And so I don't think, and so obviously the man will get annoyed at that, and I think very many men who are innocent and who actually enter into this are ignorant of the fact, because of the way we've been raised and the way the culture and society has gone. They're ignorant of the fact that the woman is in a far better, more advantageous position than they are. That woman has far more power over you if you enter into the legal system of marriage. And I think men need to realize that not only that, like, just how brainwashed women have become to not respect boundaries and think that the state can always take care of them, but also just how screwed the system is against them. But that doesn't mean that they should avoid the whole thing. I think they should learn the system. Get a prenup if you want to get married. There's so many different things that you can do to avoid having, if you want to get married, that is. I'm talking to the people who want to get married. This isn't, if you're MGTOW, you should be married, and here are the reasons why. I just realized I can see my screen through my sunglasses. I hope you can't see the bombs behind it. Hide the weapons. Oh wait, no, you can only see me behind it. Fail! Total fail! And that's how I'm going to end the video, because I'm just shouting absolute BS now. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I'm going to go off and take a course on how to end the video. Peace out.